Good morning. I'm grateful for the privilege to speak to you this morning and offer this chairman's charge to the faculty and students of Providence Classical School. We've often discussed that the education that you receive here at Providence extends far beyond the classroom, and its effects and its impacts extend far beyond the gates of this school. This school year is no exception. And as a matter of fact, I'm confident that the Lord is up to much more than ever before, as He uses the unique circumstances in which we find ourselves to shape and mold our students and our community for His glory and for our good. Time doesn't permit to discuss all the ways that our lives have been turned upside down in the last 8 months. There's literally not one aspect of life that hasn't been affected by pandemic considerations or constraints. You students have dealt with unmet expectations, disappointment in the loss or modification of cherished customs and traditions, a host of new rules and regulations, as well as the daily rigor of classes and assignments. You teachers have encountered new obligations and burdens. You've experienced the limitations of the tried and true teaching methods of your experience, not to mention the daily pressures you are dealing with at home and all other aspects of life. On top of all of this, these are difficult days in our country where we are possibly more aware of our differences in opinion, perspective, and attitudes. We aren't quite sure how to overcome or even address those differences with some of our closest friends. It can be very frustrating to think that something that brings one person such hope may bring another such disappointment. Yet these are the times in which we find ourselves. But what can a little school in Spring, Texas do to impact anything? We can turn to the Lord and find encouragement for times just such as these. In James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, he says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, so that you may be perfect and complete and lacking in nothing." In every aspect of life, there are challenges in dealing with the constraints we find ourselves in. We can see no clear reason or benefit oftentimes in our obedience. We can become frustrated when things that we have so looked forward to are taken from us or changed. We can grow weary of conflict or disagreement or misunderstanding. The Bible tells us that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And we have all certainly experienced that this year. But friends, we know that God is using these experiences for His glory and for our good. Even when we don't have the foggiest idea of what He's doing, we can know that in our weakness, He reveals His strength. In our doubt, He proves Himself dependable. And in the uncertainty of life, we know that He is unchangeable. And so we submit to those whom the Lord has placed in authority over us for His glory. We seek to do our work as unto the Lord when our teacher's eye is on us, and when it's not, because we know that the Lord sees all. We can count the trials that we experience as joy, because one of the reasons we came to Providence was so that we could grow to be mature and complete and lacking in nothing. So we know that God is using this for His purposes. And we can draw near in compassion and love to people with different perspectives, for we know that they are our brothers and sisters for whom Christ also died. And we can seek to encourage them as we grow in grace and Christ-likeness together. Later on in James chapter 1, verse 12, he says, "Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial. For when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love Him." May this be a year in which God builds steadfastness in our school. May He be pleased to use us to model for other schools and for our community at large how to seek the glory of God in all things, as we desire His name to be known throughout all the land. As Psalm 144:12 says, May our sons in their youth be fruitful in righteousness like plants fully grown. And may our daughters be strong like corner pillars cut for the structure of the palace. Thank you.